Good morning. This is your weekly update with Jim Stewart. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at Worth Asset Management. Today is June 5th, 2023. I'm going to go over your three threes for the week. I'm going to go over our first one, which is our top 10 major asset classes and their performance on a short-term, intermediate term, and a long-term basis. Then I'm going to go over those same major asset classes and how we are positioned on them. And then I'm going to go over our top three market movers for this week. So let's jump on in.
Okay, let's go over the top 10 asset classes and their performance for a 1 month, 3 month, and 1 year return basis. For the month of May, we did have the US dollar bounce back up 2.8 for the month. We had bonds down about 1.1, and the S&P was barely above water at 0.46. NASDAQ was up big for the month. A lot of that was driven from a few tech companies like Nvidia, which bounced over 25% in 1 day. But everything else, the Russell, the small caps, the global markets, real estate, gold, and commodities were all negative for the month of May. Looking at a little farther on a 3 month basis, we have the bonds up slightly, the S&P and NASDAQ, again, all being driven by like 7 to 8 tech stocks are driving the mega cap indexes, which are cap weighted. So that's why they are up versus a lot of the overall market. Even the Dow is only barely up for the 3 months. The small caps are down. Real estate, commodities, gold is another winner for the 3 months. Even going out farther on a 1 year basis, the negatives are bonds, emerging markets, real estate, and commodities, while we still have gold, a little bit of the world, and S&P and NASDAQ on a positive. All right, let's go over the top 10 major asset classes since our last video. The only change is the small caps. This market is starting to possibly broaden out, and that's a good sign if we want to hold on to this rally. So it'll be really important to start seeing a lot of green here across the board for this rally to hold. If not, all these will start to turn red, which could possibly force these into red. So that is something to keep an eye on. But the areas to continue to overweight are the US dollar, basically the large caps in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and to stay away from real estate and volatility for right now. All right, let's talk about the positioning and where we're at on the S&P 500. We've been talking about this for months, if not longer. We have been trying to get through this 4,200 level, this resistance level. Well, we broke through it late last week. Thursday and Friday were big up days for the S&P 500. Finally broke through. It held for now. I'd like to see what happens this week. We've got to continue to stay over it. And if we don't, we'll just trade right back into that zone. So it kind of negates it. The next level of resistance is for about 43.10. And if we do break that on a consistent or a couple days basis, we could see this market take off, a lot of it due to FOMO, the fear of missing out. If not, we'll trade back down in that zone. And here we go again, just like we've been doing for the last year and a half. All right, let's go over the top three market movers for this week. Monday, we have Apple World Day. That's their developers conference. Well, they'll be rolling out some new products, operating system, and their big reality headset. Meta just rolled theirs out. Now Apple's going to roll out theirs. On Wednesday, we get the trade deficit and consumer credit. Trade deficit will be from the Department of Commerce. The trade gap is projected to have widened a little bit, so estimated to be 75 from 64.2. So that's not great news, but it's not necessarily all that bad either. And then we'll be looking at the consumer credit to give an insight on the state of the U.S. consumer and how much they're borrowing in April. This is probably one of the last weeks of earnings. We've got a couple left. Smaller companies, GameStop, DocuSign to really be the headline of the week. But That will lead us into the CPI for next week and all the important inflation data that's going to be probably the next market mover, which will be next week. That's it for this week. Thank you again for joining us. Our next update is Monday, June 12th. And as always, continue to subscribe, like, and follow, and we shall see you next week. Have a great week trading.